What's up, everyone? It's Danny here. Welcome to today's podcast. It's going to be a short one. Kind of just wanted to hop on the mic and kind of tell you about myself. We were supposed to do one yesterday. Someone bailed, so we're doing it tomorrow, I believe. Then I got another one on Saturday, so I'm pretty stoked. I'm just happy that I'm even doing this. It scares the crap out of me, and pretty nervous even recording one solo. I've never really been one to, talk. I was the kid in school that hated presentations. Sometimes I would take a letter grade down because I just wouldn't get up in front of the class. But yeah, figured I'd hop on one and kind of just give you a little rundown about myself and what I kind of see this podcast doing and whatnot. So I guess to get started, name's Danny. Real name Daniel, if you want to get real cool. 27, turned 28 on February 21st. Living in Northern California, that Bay Area, yeah. The Yay area. Go Sharks, even though they're doing fucking awful this year. Anyways, yeah, I love hockey. Let's see here. Been a photographer, videographer for maybe like 13, 14 years. In the last 10 of it, I've spent pretty rigorously touring around the U.S., Canada. Been overseas once, just touring with bands. Most of them my friends, some you meet along the road. But yeah, 2 months. I think one of them, like Warped Tour, is a little over 2 months. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. But yeah, just pretty much a new state every day. Wake up, you go, check out the venue, take photos of the front of the venue, whatnot, eat, do your thing. Band usually has sound check, depending on where they are. If they're lower on the bill, probably no sound check. But most of the time I'm touring with a band called Mice and Men, or bands of that caliber. So they are usually direct support or headlining. So, they'll have a slotted time that they can go in and, get their gear set up, play it, do any tweaks that they need to, all that fun stuff. So when they're doing that, usually I'd say like 80% of the time I'm in there with them and doing all those behind the scenes photos, video, whatever. I mean, that's, do that and then kind of do your own thing, really, unless they have like a meet and greet or whatnot. Anyways, do that, and then the show, and then after I'll edit photos and give them photos that night and do a video. Sometimes every night. Usually though, I do like every few days to every week. So on a normal tour, that's a month. So you got at least 4 videos, and I'm just talking videos for Instagram, a minute long. But yeah, so that's been usually but that's been my last 10 years. Took a little, maybe a year and a half, somewhat of a break in between. But this last year was one of my busiest years, which kind of led into where I'm at now, because, you do something for so long on such a scale of touring. It's, it's go, 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 and you come home. And sometimes you have a month off, 2 months off. Sometimes you have, I think the smallest amount of time I had after a tour was a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then I was out for another month and a half, 2 months. So it really gets you. Especially, I enjoy a nice beer or, a few shots here and there. And most of the bands I tour with, we like to party. So that catches up with you, and I just was kind of getting burnt out, so I thought it was time to kind of pull back a little bit. I love fitness and working out, so now I get to focus a lot on working out every day, and I don't have anything stopping me. Like currently, I mentioned in the first episode that I'm doing this ab challenge contest thingy, run by Corey Gregory. The last time I did it, I was, I think, a month and a half, maybe 2 months in, and I was looking the best I've ever looked, felt the best I've ever looked. I think I dropped down to the lowest I've been since high school. which was I think I was either 193 about. And I was just pumping it, just going for it, and I felt great, and I looked just getting shredded, and then I had to leave for tour. So, I mean, although I looked pretty good on tour, you start to, have a few beers every night, or you try not to every night, but it happens. You try and eat healthy, but, you're in a bus and you have some candy. You're going to eat that candy and watch a movie, or like 2 bags of candy or whatever. But going off of that, I'm pretty damn stoked to not have anything kind of stopping me from working out every single day, which I try and go 7 days a week. Unless I really need a day off, I'll take that Saturday or Sunday. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I think I weighed in this morning at 199, I believe. So I've broken that threshold. My goal is 190. I think for me to win this contest, I'll have to be a little lower than that. Like, I'm thinking 185. So there's that, which is awesome because, I'm just overall getting just healthy and just stronger and all that stuff. And, of course, eating better, which is amazing because I can actually go to the grocery store anytime I want. Rather on tour, it's like, well, okay, cool, I need to take a $20 Uber. Yeah, no way. I'm going to get McDonald's, which is right around the corner. So there's a lot of other factors that I don't want to talk about, or at least on a solo one, because, I'd have to have probably someone answer or ask me some questions or something. But yeah, that was a majority of my time. I think it was 10 years, just touring nonstop. Like I mentioned with bands, Mice and Men. Recently did, a summer tour with a band called Sleeping with Sirens. Worked with In This Moment, Miss May I, Woe Is Me. They're not a band anymore. Band called Issues. So, all around. Done one or two EDM things. Well, they weren't really that long. One was Breathe Carolina for Miami Music Week, and then another one which was pretty cool. It was Vegas, so I flew into Vegas, showtime, went back to my hotel room, woke up, and then we went to Arizona, I believe, but that was with Bassjackers, and it was kind of funny. Well, it's funny now, but when it happened, it felt so bad. But the EDM touring life is a different kind of animal compared to the rock tour world. But so I flew in kind of early that day, got my room situated, and then him and I met up. I think it was Marlon, I believe. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Marlon, super sick dude, also shredded. He loves those calisthenics, those workouts. But anyways, we had a day show at I think it's called Daylight Club or something. It's an outdoor pool one, which was awesome. I was getting my own personal buckets of Bud Light. It was tight. First time, popping multiple bottles of some Dom Perignon, or however the hell you say it. But it was sick. I loved it. That concluded him, myself, one or two other of the DJs. We went to the old down strip where I think the Golden Nugget and all that crazy shit is. We all got some stupid tie-dye shirts. I still have mine somewhere. I should bust it out. But yeah, that was fun. Constantly, we've been kind of drinking all day. Not super heavily, but, like you're in that Las Vegas sun and you're partying. Like, you kind of lose track, and before you know it, you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm feeling good. And the night gets, going, and, we go to a casino and we gamble a little bit, have a couple of drinks, and then you go to I don't know, Omnia, I think it is, or something. His buddy was playing. I think that was it. We just went there and we're in the booth and whatnot, and it took me forever to get in the booth because it was so crowded. He was up there and I'm just kind of by myself, just having a drink. I think I had a couple beers. So that was it. And then after that, so we're like, okay, well, we went separate ways into our hotel room. And I think lobby call was 9 a.m. for our car to pick us up to go to the airport. Well, apparently I left my hotel door room open. I thought it was heavy enough to kind of close on its own. I pass out, and I wake up to him in my room waking me up saying, yo, we gotta wake up, or something like that. Like, yo, like, get up. We gotta go. Like, the car is waiting for us. Like, I was like, oh. I think the first thing I said in that kind of a sleep state was like, yeah, I know. Kind of like, yo, why are you waking me up? Like, I know. But I felt so bad because, as soon as, like, a minute or two goes by, I'm like, oh, shit. Like, one, this is embarrassing. Two, I don't want, realistically, if it took any longer, he probably would have just bounced without me, and it would have looked even worse on my part. But luckily, he was pretty chill about it. I've talked to him, not super recently, but, we kind of vibed on the whole working out thing. But we rush down, we get into the car, we get driven to the airport, and, the entire time I'm just telling him, like, dude, I'm so sorry, like, this is a whole nother lifestyle I'm not used to. Not trying to make an excuse, because it's not my, my fault, but, man. And that was just that one night. And that's that very same day, so we fly to Arizona. He's got this gig at this, like, Arizona, I forget, a walking stick. It's like a resort, I believe. Oh, excuse me. Walking stick resort, I believe. On the airplane, my head was just buried into the seat in front of me. Like, oh my goodness, I feel like shit. Not only was I a little hungover, but, I just felt bad. Luckily, it was a short flight. We made it. And then, once we got moving around, kind of felt better and stuff like that. His little rider cart of booze and stuff came, and him and I shared a drink and kind of felt better. My buddy Kavanch came from high school, which is cool. I hadn't seen him in a long time. But, okay, it was just really crazy, Fly in Vegas, go wild, wake up, almost make him miss the flight, and then go to Arizona, and I don't know, and then fly home the next day. One other thing so the door wasn't open to my hotel room, and he tried asking the front desk, and they wouldn't give him a key, like, even though I guess, like, he tried showing them on the, like, maybe an email or something, like, that it was booked by management or whoever, and they wouldn't, and I guess he tried knocking on the door, but it was open. So I'm pretty sure if my door wasn't open, I would have missed everything. So shout out to Marlon for being cool. We also had a great time gambling at the Arizona resort, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so that was crazy. But besides The Rock and then those two things, I haven't really done any other, I haven't done hip hop or anything. I would love to have, before I throw the towel and completely, I'd love to do some crazy big, what would you call it? Like pop, something like some Halsey or, maybe a big rapper. I don't know. Like Logic, that would be sick. Love Logic. Yeah. Or even some comedy stuff. Go on tour with a comedian, and I don't know. But yeah, touring, that was fun. I feel like I've kind of outgrown it a little bit, a little burnt out. But before all this photo, video stuff I was extremely into hockey. I don't physically or really remember the first time I started playing hockey, but there's some photos around the house that I'm young. My parents had me on some rollerblades probably shortly after I could walk. I wouldn't be surprised. I'll have to ask my mom. I'm gonna have her on a podcast, so I'm sure that'll get brought up. But yeah, I started out in roller hockey. That was fun. And then it all just came really fast because me and my brothers played too, but not to toot my own horn, but I was pretty damn good. Travel team for many, many years, and that was fun. And that's actually how I met Alan from Of Mice and Men. That's how we know each other. We started off playing hockey together. He's a year older than me, so he was then just a league above because he goes by age, obviously. But sometimes we'd play against each other or whatnot. But since we're part of the same club, sometimes you do practice it, or like practice games or something, like scrimmages with the older teams. But yeah, then roller turned into ice hockey, which we played. I played for the San Jose Junior Sharks, and that was a level called tier, like AAA tier, which is essentially like the highest level that you can play as a kid. I guess within the States. I'm not sure. Well, I mean, coming from California, I believe it's AAA tier throughout the U.S. I'm not quite sure. It's been a long time. Who knows if it's changed? But you go through the different stages as you grow up, and you keep going, and still through the. Well, actually, no. Sorry. It started out with a Cougars team. In Cupertino, yeah, Cougars. Sorry. No, is that where I met Alan? I don't know. Alan and I started playing hockey together. That's what I'll leave it. A long time ago, like 6th grade. Anyways, so yeah, the Patriots. That was the roller hockey club. So roller hockey with the Patriots, Cougars first ice hockey team, and then from the Cougars went to the way cooler team, San Jose Junior Sharks, which is fucking awesome. Had a blast. I mean, I love that. I wasn't a super goal scorer like Ovechkin or whoever you want it, like Crosby, but damn, I was fast. I bet you I could beat Connor McDavid in the speed skating contest that they have for like the All-Stars. Give me some notice. I think I could beat him, or be very close. Beat him or close. I'll put it at that. But yeah, I played that for a very long time, up until I think when I was like 16 and a half or something, and that's when it flipped because just because I was such a fast skater, I wouldn't necessarily say I was the best puck handler. I mean, I could handle the puck, but it wasn't the insane goal scorer. Jumped around from playing defense to forward and blah, 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 blah. But I was so fast that, come 16 years old, I got contacted by a juniors team, juniors is about the same level as college. So, although I'm not sure, I think the NHL pulls from the... Oh, it's trash. Wow. Well, everyone, that's my trash can picked up. Sick. Sorry about that. I forget which league the NHL pulls from. Obviously, from college you get drafted. AHL, I believe. And then I was in... I don't know. It was a team called the Kansas Roadrunners. So 16, I'm trying out for this juniors team, which was... They held the tryouts in Wisconsin, which I don't know. It beats me. But it was a cool trip for me and my dad to go do. And I did pretty damn well. I scored a goal. I think there was 2 games. You just do 2 scrimmages, and I think they did some drills. I can't really remember too much details on that. But, yeah, I mean, I showcased my speed pretty damn well. Scored the goal. It was crazy because I think you age out at age 23. So, I mean, looking back on it now, I'm like, damn, dude, you're a little pansy. You should have just stuck with it. But, 16 dealing with, some 23, I think. Some people that are big, I'm just looking kind of shredded because, I'm 16 and have no body fat. So, I'm looking good. But, there's some kind of somewhat grown men who got just some beef. To the point where, I feel like if they were to want to lay me out, I'd be in the hospital. But, I hung with them. I think, but in a way, it was kind of just too much, too fast. One thing that will always stick with me is, hockey, especially ice hockey, you can fight. Sometimes you just get a 5-minute, or depending on how you do it, you can get more. But usually it's just a 5-minute major. And I was on the bench, and I had one of the older guys on the team. Like, I think it was his coming up last year before he aged out. And some other kid that was on the tryout. Mind you, there was only one other 16-year-old. I think maybe one 17-year-old, and then it was like 18 and up that were trying out. So I was the youngest with one other kid, 16. So I'm sitting on the bench, and one of the other guys, he was probably one of the 18 and up guys I was trying out. He tried to pick a fight, because it's one thing, if you're doing well and you're a goal scorer and you're fast and all that shit, like, okay, do your thing. Or if you're even that, and if you're just having a bad tryout, sometimes a tactic is pick a fight. Make yourself stand out. I mean, you might get labeled as like an enforcer when you're not, but sometimes, it's like, oh yeah, that guy, that was the only fight in the whole tryout. I'll ask my dad, he might know, but I'm pretty sure it was the only fight. So the guy picks a fight with another teammate, and like an actual teammate from the team on the other side of the scrimmage team, and that guy didn't want to do it. So the guy on our team who was about to age out, and he was tall, he was a big dude. Like, I'd say at least 6'1", gotta be 200 plus, just a big dude. He just immediately jumps off our bench and goes and fights this dude. But yeah, they scrapped for a few minutes. The guy kicked his ass, but I guarantee you that those coaches wrote down that other kid's name who picked the fight, wrote it down on their little list of who they want or who to keep looking after and all that shit. So yeah, it was just, that was crazy. But overall, I think it was just too soon, like too much too fast. And, like I said earlier, it's like, it kind of sucks looking back, because I'm like, damn, dude, you're a little pussy. Like, you should have just kept with it. Somewhat of a big regret that it'll stick with me. But, I love hockey so much that it's like, damn, like, that could be you out there playing NHL, getting paid, all this money, traveling, doing what you love, and supporting yourself, playing hockey. Like, what? That's crazy. So, like, doing all that and figuring out, being 16-year-old child, my route in life, doing school, hockey, and this is the time that I'm starting to do photography, like picking that up, like in school, like beginning like junior year, senior year, I was, becoming, obviously this is a little later after I stopped playing hockey, as like the tail end of that, like, started doing, like, I was the senior photographer for yearbook my senior year, stuff like that. So things were shifting, and literally right after high school, like I think that summer or something, I went on my first tour with Mice and Men, because I was just hanging out with Alan in Austin, who I was hanging out with Alan at first, and his roommate Alex Endowski, which, if you know of Mice and Men, they have a song called The Great Endowski, which is kind of hilarious, because we'd all just go to his house and hang out and like have fun and party and go to the pool and the skate park and all this fun, little, young teen, adolescent fun shit that you normally do. And then I randomly met Austin. Austin, was a tech attack, created Mice and Men, blah, 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 blah. I was hanging out with him, and then, one night I was at Alan at his apartment, and I think I was just texting Austin, and I was like, hey, just come over and hang out. I'm with my buddy Alan, like, whatever. Pretty much, we all started hanging out together. Everyone clicked, and at this point, Austin was not in any bands and all this, and they were writing music, and I was just hanging out. Like, I don't play music. I suck. I can't sing. I can't play guitar. Tried drums when I was younger. Sucked. Just not musically talented at all. But it was fun to watch some of these things come together. And some of the songs that were on that first record were some, or second record, I don't know, were, songs that I heard them writing in, this apartment room, like, just fucking around. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And then when Austin rejoined the band, he brought Alan, and then they brought me along, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then they asked me if I could do video. And the camera I had, it was the Canon Mark I, I believe. And I was like, dude, this thing doesn't do video. Like, are you kidding me? Like, one, I don't know how to do it. Two, this doesn't even have video. They're like, well, we'd really love if you could do video. Like, I was like, all right, well, let me ask around. So I asked this girl that I knew from high school, just friends, like someone we all kind of hung out with, and I think I knew that she had a camera, or maybe I asked her, or maybe I did something on Facebook, like, hey, you want to go to camera? I can borrow for a month. And I guess she was a fan of Mice and Men, and kind of in trade for letting me use her camera for a month, going all the way far as like New York, doing a big circle of the U.S., she was like, or maybe I offered it, or she asked. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll do a little photo shoot with you, just at the park, some simple, good photos, like some portraits and stuff. And I don't know if I told her or not, but I brought Austin with, and I think she thought that was pretty cool. I don't know, but it was fun. Thank you. It's gonna tear me apart. I forgot her name. That's awful. Oh my god. I don't know. Whatever. Thank you to her. Yeah. And then, so that's pretty much how I started video. I just was forced into it. And I loved it. And obviously, 10 years later, I'm still doing it. Been to, the last tour I was on with Nothing More, on the band Ghost headlining tour. It was arenas. Small, hockey arenas and college hockey arenas and stuff. But nonetheless, arenas. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, that's kind of a little rundown about me. I mean, I got two brothers. One was on the first podcast, Nick. Hopefully in the next few days, I'll have my other brother, Michael, the middle brother. I'm the oldest of, three. So myself, Michael, who's the middle brother, and Nick, who was on the first podcast, is the youngest. Yeah. Let's see. Speaking of Nick, he just opened the door. What do you want?
Oh, I was just seeing where you were.
Yeah, I'm recording, dude. What's up?
What's up? Nice.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Did you get school?
Yeah, I just got home.
Cool. All right, shut the door.
Alright.
Oh, okay. We have this thing that we do it's just fun. And it happens like every day. Unless I don't see him, we'll just flip each other off. But like have the biggest smile. Or like as I'm walking by like his door. Like not even popping in, just put my hand in there with just flipping in the bird. It's pretty fun. I don't know. Yeah, let's see. I think that's it about me. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. And I'm me. Let's see here. For this podcast, I kind of don't really have any expectations of where it's gonna go. All I know is that so far I'm really liking it, although it makes me really uncomfortable. But the fact that I'm doing one solo right now kind of attests to the keep doing it and you'll get better and more comfortable. So I kind of just gonna be starting off with some guests that like I know. Obviously, like I started with my brother. Tomorrow I have someone that I'm talking to who's I've known for quite a few years. I don't even know. Definitely over 5 years. I'll say that. So yeah, great friend. Then the next day I have my other buddy who I've known for even longer. So I'm gonna start it off with people that I know and something that it's gonna be very easy to talk to. Excuse me. So yeah, and it's not really directed in any way. I think on my profile for Anchor FM, where this all stuff lives and gets distributed and all that, I think I put myself under health and fitness, which is about right, because I feel like most of the conversations that I'll be having will somewhat. Wow, dude, I can't even talk. Pretty much they'll have some root of like a health or fitness aspect. One of the guests I'll have, I gotta figure it out maybe next weekend or something. Friend Brianna, she's a nutritionist and a personal trainer, so that'll be cool. One, because I need to learn more about well, nutrition for sure. I mean, you can always learn more about everything. So it's one of those podcasts where it's just kind of talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about, you know. Maybe I'll write some notes for certain guests, but it's just like, you know, shoot the shit, just talk about whatever, kind of learn from myself. If I can get information that's good for everyone else, that's obviously amazing. Some inspiration, motivation, if it comes. So I'm hoping for the best, and hopefully maybe I can do more of these individual, like, solo ones if I have a time where I'm like, oh, I don't really have a guest for a minute. I'll just do one myself, because I have a goal that I want to try and, I wouldn't say it a goal, but yeah, I want to try and have one at least every week, if I, you know, unless something happens. You know, 2 a week would be even better. But, you know, I want to make it a regular thing to post a podcast, whether it's like this one, a solo one that's going to be under an hour, or maybe, who knows, maybe it'll be a 10-15 minute one by myself or with a guest, which, well, I don't think a guest would be 10-15 minutes. You get past the how you doings, and it's already like 3 to 5 minutes. But, you know, like my first one with my brother Nick, it was like an hour or 12 minutes, and we were both surprised. I was very happy. I was very stoked. But all in all, I mean, this wasn't a New Year's resolution. I don't believe in that shit. I guess you could have called it a goal, but like, I did it like within the first day, I think, of first couple days of 2020. So yeah, not a New Year's resolution. Just don't make one. Just do whatever you're gonna do. I mean, obviously it's the new year, so this doesn't really apply, I guess, because whatever. But yeah, kind of just doing it as I go. Right now I'm just running off of I think it's Blue Designs, the Yeti blackout mic. I'm just running straight USB to my computer, but I think maybe after a few episodes I'm going to upgrade some mics, try and get 2 separate ones with the little C-clamp mic holding crane thingy, my bobs. Definitely need 2 mics because this interface, Rode Podcast Pro or interface or something, has a bunch of cool things, but you need some XLR cables. And this one just is straight USB. But the thing that I want to get, the Rodecaster Pro, I believe it's called, on the side it has a MIDI. I think there's 8 MIDI controls for sound effects. And I'm pumped. Super excited. Because one of the podcasts that I like to listen to by Chris D'Elia, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what hardware he's running, but he has a MIDI controller that has programmable sound effects, and it's hilarious. Always hitting the wrong ones, but I'm sure I will too. But, I just want to start upping the production of this and kind of make it more fun. And I do have on my through Anchor.fm, and I'll put it in. I don't know if it goes into the show notes automatically, but if I can, I think you can have listener questions. I'll have to figure it out. I know I swiped right. This isn't Tinder. I mean, I clicked on a little icon to say yes to listener calls, I believe. So, like, you can answer calls or whatever. But yeah, anyways, I don't really know what else to kind of say. I mean, besides hockey, fitness, new podcast. I mean, I'm sure once I keep doing this, more will come out. But yeah, I'm super excited. Always kind of nervous, excited, nervous, repeat. But I think once I start going, it'll get better. And then thank you everyone who's listening. I think the first one, it's doing pretty well. Slow start, but that's how it's going to be for a little bit until I, hopefully gain some traction here soon. And feel free to hit me up on my Instagram at its Danny Todd. You can DM me if you want to support the podcast and shoot me a DM saying what's up or a question or anything, that'd be cool. I don't know if this is on every single podcast, but I know for a fact it's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and a few others that I forget the names of, which sucks. But yeah, just take a listen. Try and take a little millisecond to subscribe and do some ratings if you want. It'll really help me out. If you don't, I mean, whatever. That's you. I'm doing me. You do you. Thanks for listening. And I'll be coming back at you soon with a new guest. And I'm going to go get me some coffee. Nice cold brew to wake my ass up. Gym today was not that great. It was okay. Arm day, whatever. Time to get coffee. All right. Thanks, everyone.